Hi everyone, I'm Bobby White. A lot of dancers, especially Balboa dancers, have heard of an event called Cowbow, the California Balboa Classic, which takes place in Newport Beach, the heart of Balboa and much of its history. But there's an organization under Cowbow, and that organization is the Pacific Swing Dance Foundation. The Pacific Swing Dance Foundation is a non-profit group whose goal is to preserve the dancing and its history for future generations. Every region of the United States has its own amazing history of swing dancing, and PSDF focuses on swing dancing as practiced in the western United States, including dances such as Balboa, Lindy Hop, LA Swing, Shag, West Coast Swing, and Tap. Beyond running California Balboa Classic, PSDF also operates the Pacific Swing Dance Archive. The archive has begun the work of preserving and housing historical resources from original dancers of the swing era as well as their successors. Its collection includes video clips, memorabilia, photographs, and historical costuming. The goal of the archive is to preserve and make these informational resources available to the general public well into the future. But the PSDF is not just collecting historical artifacts. For the past 2 years, I've been collecting oral histories from experienced dancers. For instance, 2 years ago, I went and interviewed original swing era dancer Roy Damron for 3 days in his home in Hawaii. Here's some of the things we talked about.
He and another guy did a shim sham that they thought was real neat. It's pretty good. They do this little shim sham show, and everybody enjoyed it. Everybody would clap or go, 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 go. Dean was very good, and like I said before, I give him credit for bringing swing dancing to the West Coast.
Sadly, Roy passed away this year, January 2020, at the age of 98. He died peacefully at his home of natural causes, but it is a reminder that now is the time to preserve this dance history. Last year, I went to Seattle to interview another swing dance legend in his own right, Dwight Lupartis. Dwight is a second-generation swing dancer, but his historical knowledge of the dance is almost limitless.
Willie was very analytical, especially on his own dancing. He knew what he did, why, how. So one of the things about Willie and Dean Collins, they had mastered their dance.
Our goal with these interviews is to keep the legacies and the history of these dancers alive for future generations to come. And that's why we've now started extensive interviews with none other than the legend herself, Sylvia Sykes. Sylvia Sykes not only trained with these original dancers, she also mastered many different dance forms and was instrumental in the resurgence of swing dance popularity in the 80s and 90s.
Maxie shows up and he pulls out this revolver and puts it on the table next to me. And I said, "What's that for?" He goes, "You never know."
Sylvia is to swing dancing as St. Augustine is to philosophy. Not only does she carry on the legacies of the original dancers that she worked with, she also blazed her own path and was instrumental in shaping swing dancing as we know it today. We've already done about 6 hours of interviews with her, but we're looking at dozens, possibly even 100 hours worth of work in order to carry on her legacy. As someone who relishes the history of these dances, I can't think of a more important time for organizations like the Pacific Swing Dance Foundation to exist. When you support them, you're not only supporting Cowbow and this show here, you're also helping them preserve the history of the dance. Check us out at pacificswingdance.org, and if you can, if you have the ability, please consider contributing. Thank you very much.